Good evening, all of you. People, sorry, it's good morning, not good evening. So, a very good morning, people. Can you hear me? Is my voice clear and audible to all of you? Am I audible? Can you all see the screen? The screen is right in front of you, right? So, we are going to take a test. I would be taking the test the way I would have taken in the exam. So, though I have designed these questions, wrote the solutions of these questions, still I would like to take the question again. So the purpose of this session is to make you aware as to how to take a test, in the sense that what things you should do and things you can smartly do, or what things you can avoid to 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 increase your score from, let's say, 2530 to 3540. So sometimes minor adjustments, yes, a very good morning. So sometimes minor adjustments can help you increase your score by 25%. Minor adjustments. So now most of you are in the range of 25, 20, between that range. Some of you are touching 30 marks, many of you are touching 35 plus, so that's a good thing. So people who are in the range of 25, 25, 20, 25, I believe that they have the potential to take their score from 25 to 35, 40. And how can you do that? By getting 3 or 4 more questions correct. So that way, yes. So Kunal says that I am between 25, 35. There's so many of you. That's the case with many of you. Some of you might be in the range of 20, 18, 20. So don't worry about that. At least you are getting around half the desired score. So to get the other half, you have to just focus on a few more questions, maybe one more RC, maybe a few verbal ability questions, and you will be there right within that zone of 35 plus. The score that you should target ideally is on the lower side. You keep it at least about 30 to ensure that you have that confidence going. Because in the earlier pattern, if you scored 40, you used to say, okay, fine, I'm in that minimum level. But in this changed pattern, so 40 will become 30. Why? Because, okay, we are bringing down the score by that percentage. So 30 would be like in the older version around 40, 42, something like this, 45 maybe. So yes, 30 is the bare minimum that I want. About 30, if I get 35 plus, I would be very happy. 40 plus would be like, it's a very good score. So without wasting time, let's start with the paper. And while taking the paper, we will see that what in new pattern 35 plus can we get. Yes. In the new pattern 35 plus percentile, in an average difficulty paper, you will get 90 percentile. But if the paper becomes very easy, understand this, if the paper becomes really very easy, then in that case, you might have to score more. The difficulty of the paper decides to a great extent the kind of minimum score that you should target for 90 percentile. So this year, we believe that if the paper is in difficulty very similar to last year, then I think 35 would be a decent score for 90 percentile. Maybe more than that you will get. Okay. So now let's start with the paper, Hannah, and I will start discussing the questions and the things I will do first to ensure that I do well. So this is our first test, the first sectional test. So here you click on start and you get the questions here. So I will have to just put aside. So I have the question, I have the timer going on, right? So you see the timer and you can. So the first thing is, of course, many of you would say, let me have a look at the first few lines. So it says Greek religion as Xenophanes recognized as long as 6th century before Christ, whether or not God made in his own image, it is certain that man makes gods in his, the gods of Greek mythology first appear in the writings of Homer and Hesiod, and from the character and actions of this picturesque and for the most. So when you read this first paragraph, you realize that this is not something which I am really very familiar. You realize that, boss, this is a passage which seems to be from Greek mythology. It talks about mythology, Olympians, and then you have Olympic mythology. So there is a great degree of unfamiliarity unless you have gone through Greek mythology or fond of mythology. So for many people, this may not be a good way to open the paragraph. They would just have a scan at it. They would say the author of the passage would likely agree. So it's a specific question. The second question says the ritual. So this is a short question. So you know that, fine, there is a short question. And then it says, Ionian philosophy can be described with each of the following terms except. So again, typical CAT question that came last year. It's a kind of an except question. ठीक So which of the following if proved most weakened? So again, you have two back-to-back critical reasoning questions. And then there is the fifth one, which is a different passage. So always keep an eye when the new passage comes. So here you have the passage which says the study of the causes of poverty. Alfred Marshall observed at the turn of centuries, the study of causes of degradation. So this seems to be about economics. It says insufficient food, clothing, no contemporary economist would be likely to make such an observation. So there seems to be a passage on economics. So the first one says central idea. The second one says that paragraph 1 directly वहाँ से question आया है. So there's one question which comes from paragraph 1 directly. So so you can have a look at the other questions, and there is something from paragraph 3. So there is more paragraph, there is tone of the, so compared to the first passage, this passage seems to be much more doable. Why? Because there are questions from first para, second para, tone, and questions from certain phrase. So if I have to give a priority, I would say that I will take the second passage first. Because though it is from economics, many of you might not like economics, but from the questions you realize that, boss, there are lots of questions which are somewhat easy. Look at this, radically behind paragraph 4, and then it says in the earlier one it says tone of the author. So there is no paragraphing you can mark. Mostly tone questions are easy, not very difficult. This is from paragraph 3, and this is from paragraph 1. So easier than the first passage, I would say. Okay. 11th question, it says it was disquieting to discover that an inert material with all sorts of practical functions can pose a danger to life on Earth. Who would have figured it? The molecules in question are called chlorofluorocarbons. They are extremely chemically inert, which means they are invulnerable until they find themselves. So this seems to be about earth science, from science passage. It talks about chlorofluorocarbon, it talks about ozone, and that seems to be the discussion which is. So many of you say, fine, okay, so we can either start with this passage straight away and say this is a science passage. I am very much comfortable with science passage. So you can say, okay, let me take the science passage, and you can start with the questions. The first question says, by referring to the serendipity that characterizes many discoveries in science, the author implies that. So this is the 11th question. The 12th question says, which of the following can be reasonably concluded? Conclusion question. The next one says that the passage suggests that one of the most threatening consequences to humanity. So, you can more easily relate with this passage because the questions are straightforward. They are from science, and there is a great degree of familiarity with this kind of question. After that, the 15th one is from a different RC. So you can go and have a look at the other questions as well, or you can say, fine, I have given already 2 minutes to looking the past paper. So let me start with this. I mean, we have taken more time because we are talking as well, but then in the paper, you will take half the time of what I have taken right now. So it shows here that the time I have taken is 36. I mean, I have taken 4 minutes to realize that, okay, I will take this passage. But in the exam time, because the question is ideally how much time one must spend on to serve through the questions. I think you should just have a look at quickly. I mean, 2-3 minutes, not more than that. Okay, so I have decided that I will go ahead with this passage. So let me read it now. It says the molecules in question. So it says here that it was disquieting to discover that an inert material with all sorts of practical functions can pose a danger to the life on Earth. Who would have figured it? The molecules in question are called chlorofluorocarbons. They are extremely chemically inert, which means they are invulnerable until they find themselves in the ozone layer, where they are dissociated by sunlight. The chlorine atom thus liberated deplete the ozone and let more ultraviolet light from the sun reach the ground. Okay, so this is talking about the process. This increased ultraviolet intensity ushers in a ghastly procession of potential consequences involving not just skin cancer, but the weakening of the human immune system, and most dangerous of all, destruction of agriculture and photosynthetic microorganisms at the base of the food chain, on which the life of Earth depends. The principal manufacturer of this material, the DuPont company, after years of pooh-poohing, and of claiming that nobody had actually demonstrated any peril, that company has now announced that it will rapidly phase out all of its CFC production. The precipitating event seems to have been the discovery in 1986 by British scientists of a hole in the Antarctic ozone layer. There is now good evidence of thinning of the ozone layer at other latitudes as well. So this talks about DuPont and who is responsible for the thinning of the ozone layer. Who discovered CFCs pose a threat to the ozone layer? Was it DuPont exercising corporate responsibility? No. Was it the Environmental Protection Agency? No. Was it the Department of Defense? No. It was two ivory tower white-coated university scientists who basically discovered the CFCs. Their work used reaction rate constants of chemical reactions involving these with determined in part with NASA support. Why NASA? Because Venus has chlorine and fluorine molecules in its atmosphere, and planetary astronomers wanted to understand what's happening there. Confirming theoretical work on ozone depletion was done with a big computer model by a group led by Michael Meckler. How is that they had all these branching networks of halogen chemical kinetics So not very clear what is going on. Because they were working on halogen chemistry, Venus helped make the discovery that the Earth's ozone is in danger. So Venus might have become a stumbling tool by which they might have realized how the ozone is in danger. There is absolutely unexpected connection between the atmospheric photochemistries of the two planets, and suddenly a very practical result emerges. Abstract kind of work, understanding the upper atmosphere of Venus. There is also Mars connection to ozone depletion. Viking found the surface of Mars to be lifeless and remarkably deficient in simple organic molecules. This deficiency is widely understood as due to lack of ozone in the Martian atmosphere. Ultraviolet light from the sun strikes the surface of Mars. If any organic matter, thus part of the reason that the topmost layer of Mars are antiseptic is that Mars has an ozone hole of planetary dimensions, a possibly useful cautionary tale for us who are busily making holes in our ozone layer. So I have read the passage. I have taken more than 2.5 minutes. Maybe I am reading it loudly, that's the reason, but I have read the whole passage and I have read it very carefully and I have understood it as well. I know that the first part focuses on ozone and how people stumbled upon it. Then the NASA part comes, and towards the end we have the discussion of Venus and Mars and how the author tells us that Venus and Mars has helped us or will help us understand how dangerous the depletion of ozone can be. Now, by referencing to the serendipity that characterizes many discoveries in science, the author implies that. Now, understand this. If you look at this question, it says science advances are as much a result of luck as they are of hard work. Okay. So, of course, you know what is the meaning of serendipity? That there is, of course, stumbling upon something by accident. That is the meaning of the word serendipity. Research in one area of science may unexpectedly lead to valuable advances in another area of science. So how has this happened? If you look at this discussion going on here, it says that the discovery happened because of these two scientists. And how did they come to know about this? They were actually working on Venus. They were trying to understand Venus's atmosphere. And from that, they realized that how the ozone on our planet is getting affected. So if you know the meaning of the word serendipity, then it basically means stumbling upon something. So it says here, such serendipity, look at this word here. It says Venus helped make the discovery that the Earth's ozone is in danger. Such serendipity, by the way, is found in many discoveries. So this passage here gives me the indication that answer for this question has to be B. Is it clear to everyone that why B? And B has to be is the undisputed choice, because it says knowledge of outer space is important in its own right eventually. So this what I would say, this part of the passage clearly tells that if you are studying one area of science or one thing of science and eventually you stumble upon discovery in some other aspect, then that is serendipity, and B captures that. So here it says science advances are as much a result of luck as they are of hard work. Hard work is not being discussed here. See, if you look at this paragraph, Venus helped make the discovery. The hard work is not the emphasis. So I would mark B rather than mark A. Okay. Now I can go to the next question. It says here, which of the following can reasonably be concluded from the information in the passage? So now the passage has lots of information for you. I mean, you can either take this question later on, or you can say, let me read the options. Fluorocarbons are ecologically dangerous. Yes, they are dangerous, definitely. Of course, this is one of the things. You may not mark it. Chlorine filters light of certain wavelengths. So chlorine filters light of certain wavelength. You will have to take a look at it, whether chlorine filters or not. And then C says sunlight combines with fluorocarbons to produce ultraviolet light. Now this is absurd. All of you who have read science, you would say that how can the sun's light already has ultraviolet rays in it. It is not combining with chlorofluorocarbons to produce ultraviolet light. So because of the absence of the ozone, the ultraviolet light is passing through it, but it's not getting generated. So I would not mark this choice, at least. Ozone filters light of certain wavelengths such as, now if you are having some kind of GK, can you dispute answer D? Can you dispute it? Tell me. Yes. Can you dispute answer D? Ozone filters light of certain wavelengths such as ultraviolet light. And if you want the evidence for that, then it says here that now you'll have to go and, so yes, I mean, we can't dispute it. Of course, you will say, why not option 1? We have chlorofluorocarbons. Why should you mention the word fluorocarbons only? The idea is that if you look at the word fluorocarbons, anywhere in the passage has the word fluorocarbons come, because the passage discusses CFCs, and CFCs means chlorofluorocarbons. So if you say that the word is fluorocarbon, I don't understand why fluorocarbons and why not chlorofluorocarbons. So I know that A is correct and even D looks correct. But when I look at the word fluorocarbons, I feel that this may not be the right choice. In fact, D is basically the right choice. And secondly, ecologically dangerous. What is ecologically dangerous? It is causing harm to the ecology. The passage says that it is definitely causing harm to human beings. So first of all, A has many problems in comparison to D. So while comparing the option, I would be more convinced to mark D. Why? Because first of all, it is confirming with what I already know. I have good knowledge about ozone. And secondly, we all have seen here that the focus is chlorofluorocarbons and not fluorocarbons. C has already been eliminated. B says chlorine filters light of certain. Chlorine is filtering light? I mean, again, the same problem. Something that goes against your common sense and against what you already know should be immediately discarded. That is why you can solve this question in a very less amount of time. Because you can use your prior knowledge, prior understanding, and you can say this is the best answer. D is the best choice. Next one says the passage suggests that one of the most threatening consequences to humanity resulting from ozone. So in the passage it was discussed. It says here that and if you look at this question, the answer to this question is likely to be found in the initial part of the paragraph, not towards the end, because towards the end the author discusses how they stumbled upon the discovery through NASA. Then they discuss Venus and Mars. So we can check towards the introductory part of the passage to find the answer of this question, because it is in the introductory part that you are going to, yes. So what is going to be the answer? The threat of starvation. Why? Because it says here that this increased ultraviolet intensity ushers in a ghastly procession of potential consequences. Skin cancer is being one of them, but it says most dangerous of all. That means the author is giving a superlative degree of preference to the destruction of agriculture and photosynthetic microorganisms as at the base of the food chain. That means basically out of all the choices, though they might all be mentioned, A is the one for which the author has used the superlative most dangerous. So I have to mark A. Without looking, I have to go to the next question. Which of the following cause and effect relationship is are implied? If the ozone depletion continues, Earth's surface may eventually resemble that of Mars. Now the Mars word had come towards the end. It says here, thus part of the reason that opposed layer of Mars are antiseptic is that Mars has an ozone hole of planetary dimension, in the sense that Mars has a ozone hole which is huge, and it is cautioning us. That basically means that if our planet has ozone depletion continuously, we might become very much similar to Mars. So one to pakka hai na. If one is pakka there, then what you can do, you can shortlist A and D. Correct? I hope you're following this process. One pakka hai to A and D ho jayega. D ko dekh lo abhi. If ozone depletion continues, Earth's surface will eventually resemble that of Venus. Now go and so there is no choice of 3. Why? Because no option has 1 and 3 combination. So let's not waste on time on 3. Because of research on Venus, scientists decide to explore. So is it true that because of this research, there's also Mars connection? Viking found that surface. So is there any connection? Please check. Is there any connection that because they went there? Yahan pe it says here, Venus helped make the discovery. There is absolutely unexpected connection between atmospheric photochemistries of 2 planets. Okay? There is also Mars. So there is no relation between Mars and Venus. They might have gone to Venus. They might have independently, out of no thought, might have gone to Mars. But it is not telling us that because of research on Venus, they went to Mars. So 2 is definitely an error. So I can say I will mark A and I will go to the next. So what happened in this whole process? I have taken almost, I think, all the questions. While taking all the questions, I realized that I chose the right paragraph, and mostly I'm very confident that yes, all my questions are likely to be, because this was an easy paragraph, easy reading comprehension passage. Correct? Now you have something immediately followed. It says that a writer's job is to tell the truth, said Hemingway. So many of you would say ki boss writer ki baat ho. Let me read the first para. A writer's job is to tell the truth. No other writer of our time had so fiercely asserted, so pugnaciously defended, or so consistently exemplified the writer's obligation to speak truly. This might look a passage. Yes, Venus and Earth are connected. This might look like a passage from literature, but it is not having that heavy vocabulary and abstractness that literary criticisms often have. So by the reading of it, I realized, boss, it is better to go through this passage than to go through the first Greek mythology wala passage, because that was more difficult for me to sail through. So I would say, let me have a look at it. His standard of truth telling remained moreover so high and so rigorous that he was ordinarily unwilling to admit secondary evidence, whether literary evidence or evidence picked up from other source than his own experience. I only know what I have seen was a statement which came often to his lips and pen. What he had personally done, or what he knew unforgettably by having gone through one version of it, was that he was interested in telling about. This is not to say that he refused to invent freely, but he always made it a sacrosanct point to invent in terms of what he actually knew from having been there. So what do you get? What do you get from this first paragraph? From this paragraph, you know that the person is Hemingway. He's a writer, and he's telling the truth in the sense that he's telling what he has experienced. It says that picked up from other sources than his own experience. So the author is clearly telling us, and he's emphasizing that whatever Hemingway is saying, he's picking up from his own experience. And he says that I say because actually I have been there. So, and the passage says a writer's job is to tell the truth. That means if you look at this whole paragraph, you may not remember all the details, but what you remember is that the author is emphasizing on the fact that Hemingway as a writer emphasized on telling the truth, and the truth will come through your own experience, not someone else's experience. So this is what is there in the first paragraph. I can go and take the next paragraph. The primary intent of his writing from first to last was to seize and project for the reader what he often called the way it was. This is a characteristically simple phrase for a concept of extraordinary complexity, and Hemingway's conception of its meaning subtly changed several times in the course of his career. At the core of the concept, however, one can invariably discern the operation of three aesthetic instruments: the sense of place, the sense of fact, and the sense of scene. So, so when he is writing, what are the three things that dominate? The sense of place, the sense of fact, and the sense of scene. ठीक है भाई, आगे बढ़ते हैं. He is like a film director. Okay. And then he says the first of these, obviously a strong passion with Hemingway, is the sense of place. Unless you have geography background, he once told someone, you have nothing. You have, that is to say, a dramatic vacuum. Few writers have been more place conscious. So Mr. Hemingway is a place conscious guy. He is a geography conscious guy. Few accordingly have been able to record more economically and graphically the way it is when you walk through the street of Paris in search of a breakfast at a corner cafe, or when at around 6 o'clock of a Spanish dawn, you watch the bulbs. So what is happening in this paragraph? The author is again emphasizing Hemingway's sense of place, sense of geography, which no other writer has. And then there is a paragraph. So when you see something in quoted marks, it means it is being quoted from some outside source. When I woke, it was the sound of the rocket exploding that announced the release of the bulls from the corrals at the edge of the town. Down below, the narrow street was empty. All the balconies were crowded with people. Suddenly, a crowd came down. So you feel that there is some kind of huge description. This does not have much to do with what is going on in the passage. So, ठीक है, मतलब a kind of description. And what kind of description? If you place this paragraph in context with the earlier paragraph, you get a feel that this is an example of what? A sense of place. ठीक है ना, आगे बढ़ो. Don't read the whole example. Examples are examples. This landscape is a morning. This landscape is a morning fresh as a design in Indian ink on a clean white paper. This is the bare white street seen from above, quite and empty. Then one sees the first pack of clot of runners. Then you see bulls. Then you see all those things coming in. That's fine. He's a painter. He's painting something. Like a painter. He's a writer, but like a painter, he's painting something, and he's basically giving you a sense of place. ठीक है, not very important. If there is any question on the description, I will come towards the end. Otherwise, I will not focus much on these two paragraphs because they are mere examples, mere description, mere reiteration of what has already come before. So whenever you read a passage, you should also be smart in understanding what importance this paragraph has with respect to overall context of the passage. So for me, the first 2-3 paragraphs are very important because they tell me about Hemingway's orientation as a writer and what kind of emphasis he laid on certain things. As I go towards the end, I feel that the examples dominate, which anyways are examples of what the author has to say at the start of the paragraph. So I won't bother much of very focused reading of the last 2 paragraphs. And the first question says, according to the author, Hemingway's primary purpose in telling a story was to. So we know that Hemingway was a person who would give you a sense of place, who had a sense of geography, who was very much there to tell the truth. So what do you think is the answer here? Construct a well-told story that reader would thoroughly enjoy. Now, enjoyment is not the concern of Hemingway. His concern is to tell the truth. Construct a story that would reflect truths that were not particular to a specific historical period. Of course, tell the truth, but why tell the truth that were not particular to a specific period? ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So be something which is partially correct but partially off the track. Begin from reality, but to allow his imagination to roam from the way it was. Faithfully report reality as Hemingway had experienced it. So when you look at Do You Feel Boss, this option has no error whatsoever. It looks like it is just there for you. Easy question. This is overall. See, once you pick an easy passage, you will say the paper was easy. Faithfully means without any distortion. Faithfully का मतलब वही होता है ना, मैं कुछ distort नहीं करूंगा. Today I saw something happening on the street and I ask you, क्या देखा आपने? So if you are faithfully reporting, you will see what you have saw. You will say what you have seen. But if you are distorting, then you will start adding your own opinions, judgments, and distortions, right? So faithfully report makes good sense. I would go to the next question. Which of the following, if true, is a possible flaw in Hemingway's projection of the way it was? So what is basically the way it was? If you look at the word, the way it was, it has come here. It has come in quotation marks. And the quotation mark shows that I can easily identify this in the paragraph. The primary intent of his writing from first to last was to seize and project for the reader what he often called the way it was. The way it was का मतलब क्या है? The way it was. I mean, the reality of the past, the way it was, correct? But then there is a flaw in it. Which option do you think is basically weakening this stand of Mr. Hemingway? That there was the way it was. So I have to find a flaw in the way it was. The sense of fact and the sense of scene are intrinsically different. The sense of fact and the sense of scene are intrinsically different. Okay, so the fact and the sense of the fact and the sense of scene, maybe it looks like they are two different things. There is no way of accurately communicating one's personal experience to a reader who has not directly shared in that experience. So if the reader has not shared that experience, then there is no way of accurately communicating that experience to him. So if you compare A with B, now this is where they both look good. You will say, sir, the sense of fact jo hai, yes, journalists, unlike novelists, have a special duty to accurately report. So this is definitely out, because we don't have a special duty. Journalists, ye log kahan se aa gaye? From where are they jumping in here? Hemingway's description of the running of the bulls is quite accurate. It is towards the end of the passage, nothing to do with what has come in the earlier part. So C and D easily go out. Now you have to use your sense of judgment. Which one do you better understand? Which one appeals to your understanding? समझ में क्या आ रहा है? समझ में B आ रहा है, right? Most of you would say, sir, I understand B. Why? Because it says there is no way to communicate. If there is no way to communicate, that basically means that you can't communicate. And what you can't communicate? Your own personal experience to a reader who has not directly shared in what. So basically the whole point of writing to communicate the way it was is basically flawed. The reason it is flawed is because the reader, having not gone through the same experience or not having shared that experience, will never be able to, catch that thing. So the whole idea of relating to the truth is basically questionable. So the way I understand B, it appeals to my logical sense because I understand the sentence. When I go to A, it says the sense of fact and the sense of, हमको समझ में नहीं ये बोल क्या रहा है? They might be different. The sense of the fact, and देखो यार, two people are quarreling. I can see the quarreling between the two people. The fact of why they are quarreling is not known to me, but at least the quarreling I can see and I can relate it. So the fact might be different and the scene might be different, and still the writer is communicating the truth. Are you getting my point? I get up early in the morning, I see the sun rising in the east. Apparently it seems that the sun is moving, the earth is stationary. But the fact is that the earth is moving, the sun is stationary. And if I write a report saying that the sun rose in the east, in the afternoon it came overhead, in the evening it went to the west, I'm expressing the scene, correct? I'm not giving the fact. But is the scene wrong? The way we see it? No, it is not wrong. So the sense of the fact and the sense of the scene might be different, and still the author might be communicating the scene and not the fact, because the fact is even not known to him. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? Murder तो हुआ है ना भाई, अब कौन murder किया मुझे क्या पता? But I am simply showing you the murder, that the murder has happened. My job is done. The fact about who killed, why he killed may not be known to me and not even to the reader. So A in a way is not weakening it, but B in a way is definitely weakening it. So this is what I call as basically, by B samajh mein aa raha hai, it is doing the job of weakening, you mark and you go ahead. There cannot be two answers. At least ye risk to lena padega. See, this is the risk you have to take. Otherwise, what will happen? You will become very much cautious. And as a result, your attempts would go down. There has to be some degree of what we call as intelligent and calculated risk in comparison to the option. Correct? Let's go to the next question now. One might infer, so there is an inference question. Some of you might feel, "Arey yaar, ye kya ho gaya? Inference aa gaya." One might infer from the passage that Hemingway preferred which of the following sources. So what would he have preferred? I mean, Hemingway, the guy who wants to tell the truth, the guy who, and how can you tell the truth? When you have experienced it, it is clearly telling us here that, and I had marked it, evidence picked up from other sources than his own experience. I only know what I have seen. That means basically what you have seen is what you will tell. So stories that he had heard, no. Stories that he had read, no. Stories that came to him in periods, no. That he had lived rather than read about. A very simple question. I mean, you can't say, you will not get a question easier than this. It has been suggested elsewhere that part of Hemingway's genius lies in the way in which his descriptions of events allow his readers to essentially experience those events for themselves. Which of the following elements of the passage support this suggestion? So basically, Hemingway says that that his genius lies in his descriptions, and the readers will experience that thing through his own descriptions. Which of the following support this suggestion? So you have to say that yes, Hemingway is able to communicate his experience through his writing to the readers. Which one do you think is supporting that? A detailed description of the crowd balconies. ठीक है ना? So why has this example come? See, when you read this example, the crowd running through all these things, the author is giving this example because Hemingway is really very good at representing the scene, and the crowd is able to pick that. So A looks, statement one is definitely true, correct? Now you go to the next one. Hemingway's stated intent to project for the reader the way it was. सही लग रहा है? The way it was. His intent is to project the way it was, and he's writing what he saw. And then he says the increasing complexity of Hemingway's conception. Is it, I mean, does the author say about the complexity of Hemingway's conception? Or has the author anyways told us about the complexity? Did you read anywhere? When I read the first paragraph, it is about the way it was. Then there is an experience. There is nowhere any kind of complexity with respect to Hemingway's conception. So if you want to really go and cross-examine, you will find that the word the way it was has come in the paragraph. Okay, it has come in the paragraph here, the sense of scene, and then says you have nothing, and he, where is that way it was? It has come here, right? This is characteristically simple phrase for a concept of extraordinary complexity. So it says here, this is a characteristically simple phrase for a concept of extraordinary complexity. But then what it says here is that the increasing complexity of Hemingway's conception of the way it was. But do you think that example has come to express the complexity? Because first of all, you talk about Hemingway's genius. If you look at this question, you talk about Hemingway's genius, correct? And this genius lies in the way in which his descriptions of events allow the readers to essentially experience. So if you want to strengthen this part, would you talk about this thing? Do you realize that by talking about this thing, are you going to strengthen Hemingway's genius? I mean, it's contradictory, correct? On the one hand, you want to strengthen Hemingway's genius of being able to describe things so that his readers experience it. So you want to basically talk something very positive about Hemingway. At the same time, you say that which of the following elements of the passage support? So the increasing complexity of Hemingway's conception will support Hemingway's genius. Now, this is something which I don't digest. So sometimes there are options which you have to carefully read and understand. There will be options which are very simple. There will be options which you will have to slightly read carefully to understand them. So I realize now that option C is the best choice, 3 is not correct, and therefore C is the answer, correct? So I can now go to the next question. Okay? And I see that I am already close to the others. The author calls the way it was a characteristically simple phrase. Because why does the author say no? This is what happens. Luckily, you have two questions based on the same source or the same thing. So the previous one was on the same phrase. Again, this is a characteristically simple phrase for a concept of extraordinary complexity. Okay? So for something which is so complex, how can you just simply portray? So according to the author, the reality is complex and you are ready to portray it in such a simple way. I mean, how can these two go together? So which one do you think is actually pointing to the complexity part of it? The phrase reflects Hemingway's talent for obscuring ordinary events. He's not obscuring, he's actually bringing to our attention the relationship between simplicity and complexity, reflected the relationship between style and content of Hemingway's writing. The relationship between simplicity and this will definitely be not there, because Hemingway has the talent, but to show the truth, not to obscure the truth. That's why A definitely goes out. Now I will have a look at B. मुझे वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. C says Hemingway became increasingly confused about the way it was. Again, he is not getting confused. The author says that Hemingway wanted to do this. This was a very complex, this was a concept. This was an extraordinarily complex way of. So the problem is that Hemingway is becoming confused. I don't like the statement. D says Hemingway's obsession for geographic details progressively overshadowed the dramatic elements. Now, what would you mark going by the options? Forget about whether you have clearly understood things or not, but what would you mark if you look at these four options? The relationship between simplicity and complexity reflected the relationship between the style and the content of Hemingway's writing. I mean, ठीक है, मैं यही mark करूँगा और क्या mark करूँगा मैं? Always in the direction of greater complexity. Look at this. This is a characteristically simple phrase for a concept of extraordinary complexity, and Hemingway's conception of its meaning subtly changed several times in the course of his career, always in the direction of greater complexity. समझ में आया ना? So B, I will mark because it is the most convincing in comparison to what has come in the passage. If I read this whole line, this all 4-5 sentences, I know that B is the best choice. I won't mark. Whether I completely understand or not, that's a different thing. But A definitely is not. C definitely is not, because Hemingway's confusion is not coming as a part of the discussion. And dramatic elements, where is dramatic elements in Hemingway's writing? So again, B is the best choice and the right answer. So by the time you go to now, there might be one more question. Now this is a short question. You might come across one short question. And this is what the good ones who have, who have well read, who are well read, who have, done lots of this and that. So as soon as we had thus happily dashed ourselves from the weight of so much money, we began think of returning. ठीक है भाई, I don't like it, so I would say चलो भागते हैं आगे यार, क्या करना है इसको. Then there is 4 sentences. So you have 5 minutes left with you. You would wonder what to do now. This is where the panic sets in. And what do? You start running helter-skelter. कोई यहाँ भागता है, कोई वहाँ भागता है, कोई ऐसे करता है. So the best thing is that when you have this kind of question, either you say, boss, in one passage, I had seen questions which were directly from first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. Now the problem is, I will tell you, if there is an RC to be done and you get it towards the end, because of the time running out pressure, you will feel that even an easy RC will become difficult for you. Are you realizing this now? Now, when you see that there are 4 minutes left, what will happen with most of you? 4 minutes in itself is a good amount of time. But the problem is, because you have become very conscious of it, you will not feel like going to the RCs, because आपको लगेगा यार RC पढ़ने में 2 मिनट चला जाएगा. If I spend 2 minutes in the RC, then what will I do with the questions? So what do? You say, boss, I will not do the RC. Then what do? You go to the, so what do? You go to the parajumbles. Arey yaar, this has 4 sentences. Again, I can't do anything. So again, you start switching from one thing to the other. The point is that, see, this is what happens, and and eventually you will end up wasting those 4 minutes. Trust me. Eventually, most of you would end up wasting those 4 minutes in doing nothing. So this is what happens when pressure sets in. You basically become aware of the fleeting time than of the number of questions. On the other hand, there would be someone who would say, boss, let me make up my mind. Demerit of the 40 minutes. Let me make up my mind, boss, jo bhi ho time dikha raha, I will go and check the RC now. ठीक है, यहां पर क्या दिया हुआ है, पैराग्राफ 1, यानी कि दिस क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम पैराग्राफ 1. लेट मी रीड द फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ, लेट मी ट्राई द क्वेश्चन. The study of the causes of poverty, Alfred Marshall observed at the turn of the century, is the study of the causes of degradation of a large part of mankind. He spoke of contemporary England as well as the world beyond. A vast number of people, both in town and country, he noted, had insufficient food, clothing, and house. They were overworked and undertaught, weary and careworn, without quiet and without leisure. The chance of their succor, he concluded, gave to economic studies their chief and their high interest. In the context of economics at the turn of the century, the phrase their chief and their high interest means what? So when you say your chief and your high interest, what do you mean by that? Yes, what do you mean by your chief and your high interest? So you will have a look at the option. The value of economic studies entirely in its ability to improve people. Yes, the primary goal of, correct. So your chief and your high interest is, your chief and your high interest means your goal. It is not the value of economic studies. How can the value of economic studies become your chief and your high interest? So the value of economic studies look like a good option, good positive thing. The primary goal of economic studies should be improving the lot of vast number of people. So improve people or improve the lot of vast number of people. So I feel that when I look at A and B, they look very close, because their chief interest ka matlab kya hai? What is your chief interest? What is your main motive? And the word motive and the word goal go hand in hand. Economic studies should be concerned chiefly about, again, the chief and the highest interest of all humanity. Are you talking about all humanity? Or look at the absurdity. The chief and the highest interest of all humanity should be to study economics. Matlab ki sab kuch chhod ke economics padho. So this is an absurd choice, having too much of extremities. This looks good, but again, it is not getting the word. See, there are options which will have the right word. And when I look at this, their chief and their highest interest, immediately I realize, boss, this looks to be the best. Don't look about the time. Time to ja hi raha hai. Time to waise bhi jaane wala hai. At least you maintain some kind of composure, because even in those last 4 minutes, if you can manage one question, you would have done the job well. So there are people who would go to the 5th question, answering central. They would try to answer the main idea of the passage. There are people who try to answer the 6th question because it is not the main idea. It has come from paragraph 1. When you have last 3 minutes going with you, don't take those questions which would need more than one reading of the passage. So take those questions which need only one small reading of the passage. Correct? फिर next वाला क्या बोलता है? Next वाला बोलता है the author writes from the rest of the text. So this is again going to be a lengthy question. 8th वाला क्या बोल रहा है? It says the tone of the author. So when you look at this, no contemporary economist would be likely to make such an observation about US. Conventional economic discourses make obeisance to the continued existence of some poverty. We must remember that we still have a great many poor people. In the 1960s, poverty promised for a time to become a subject of serious political concern. Then war came and the concern evaporated or was displaced. For economists of conventional mode, the reminders that the poor still exist are a useful way of allaying uneasiness. For some people, wants must be synthesized. Hence, the importance of the goods to them is not so very high. So much may be concluded, but others are far closer to physical need, and hence we must not be cavalier about. So when you look at this, we must not be this, we must not be that, we should not be this, we should not be that. What do you feel? What is the author? He is not definitely yaar. Ye kya ho gaya? Oh, okay, so the time is up. समझ में ठीक है. So this is what will happen with most of you. Time out, anything. But see, I mean, I think that because we were discussing, so I will go to the passage again. What should I do? View solutions. Take anyways. So we are discussing something, right? So let's go and discuss this question. Which question were we discussing? The 8th question, right? The tone of the author. Instructive is the answer. I have gone through this already. So I have designed most of the questions. I designed sense I have written the answers. बनाया नहीं, मतलब आंसर लिखा है बहुतों का मैंने. So don't start congratulating. ठीक है. So if you look at this, now we were discussing the tone questions, correct? Now, what do you think when you look at this kind of statement, but others are far closer, the sales tax may have merit, but it still bears heavily on the poor get jobs more easily, thus poverty survives in economic discourse. So when you say that, it's not definitely uninterested, yes or no? ये तो पक्का नहीं है ना. अरे you are writing a passage on economic studies and you are trying to tell me ये करो वो करो ऐसा मत करो and you say I'm uninterested. See, the difference is, had it been disinterested, I would have still said कि चलो भाई देखते हैं, because uninterested means having no interest, where interest is desirable. Disinterested means unbiased. ठीक है. Disgruntled का मतलब क्या होता है? You know who are disgruntled? The one who are dissatisfied. Suppose if you are working and your boss has not given you the right kind of appraisal, even though you feel that you deserve something more, then how would you feel about your boss? You would be disgruntled. Now, do you think that the author is complaining about some personal grudge? He might complain about the government's policy, but that is not a personal grudge. Disgruntled is used primarily when there is a personal grudge against someone. So disgruntled तो मैं use ही नहीं करूंगा. I have to be confident or instructive. Looking at the tone of the overall content, I would say it is instructive. A manageable question. You could have got this correct. समझ में आ रहा है? I hope you are following this. Instructive is to basically enlighten someone. Critical is basically थोड़ा सा fault finding वाला काम होता है. Instructive is basically, when you instruct someone, you teach, you try to convey that this is what is right and this is how the way it should be. Critical tone has more of criticism towards someone. ठीक है. अगर मैं कहता हूं कि टैक्स रेज नहीं करना चाहिए, so this is not a criticism. Why? Because this is a kind of undesirable thing which has not been done by someone but should not be done by anyone. So when you say tax should not be raised, it's a kind of, but then ठीक है ना यार, see, we will have the options to sort out things. It all depends upon how the choice has been, how the options have been designed. Lots of instructive and critical stuff will go hand in hand or may go hand in hand. So it's not necessary that tones will not overlap. A person who is instructive might also at the same time be very confident. A person who is critical might also at the same time be disgruntled. So in tones, there is always overlapping of tones. You can't say that this is the tone and there is no other thing visible in the paragraph. So if you go by the options, I would mark instructive rather than confident. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? So don't look, that's what I always tell people. Don't look at tone in isolation कि सर इसका टोन क्या होगा. मैं बोलूंगा इसका टोन क्रिटिकल भी हो जाएगा, इंस्ट्रक्टिव भी होगा, सरमोनाइजिंग भी होगा. So lots of words will come, lots of mix and match will come. ठीक है. So now see, people understand. The first thing is let's try to understand कि भाई ठीक है, I believe that because I was talking a lot and I was trying to explain things, we have taken more time. But how many questions we managed in the paper? After discussing so little instant question. Yes, at least you should be able to solve around 15. I mean, मुझे लगता है कि, see, understand, I will do some mathematics part of it. You have 35 minutes, correct? 40 minutes. Out of this 40 minutes, let's say you have given around 2 minutes to 3 minutes having a look at everything. Now, technically speaking, 18 का target रखो. ठीक है? I mean, if it goes to 20, I would be very happy. But 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, अगर अच्छी accuracy है तो ठीक है. This is what should be target. Because in the older pattern, you would have taken around 26, 25 questions. So just bring it down by 1/3. तो कितना कम होता है? 8 से. तो 8 से क्या बचेगा आपका? 17 या 18 बचेगा. So on the lower side, bare minimum side 15 होना चाहिए. 15 से तो कम होना ही नहीं चाहिए. But why should you take the risk of doing only 15 questions? Try to make it to 17-18. है ना? So this is the way the whole paper needs to be discussed. And the good thing about this paper is that most of the questions are very much doable. See, people, I mean, I don't want to comment about the mocks, but a good paper will, it's medium, it is medium. Difficult nahi hai. See, the difficult thing we haven't taken. So most of you don't even feel difficult, but if you go to the first RC, you will realize that this is not so easy. So LOD of the test depends upon what you have perceived about it. And what you perceive about it depends upon what you have tried. People who will try the last two passages would say that this was a very easy paper. People who try the first RC, they would say it was a very difficult RC. So that too also decides to a great extent whether the passage was, the paper was difficult or easy. Now you look at this first paragraph. Greek religion, as Xenophanes recognized as long as 6th century before Christ, whether or not God made in his own image, it is certain that man makes God in his. So I will go to the VA part now. But my point is that you go through this. I have already put good solutions here, and if you can look at the explanations here, सब कुछ बढ़िया से दिया हुआ है एकदम. And most of the answers are convincing. यहाँ वहाँ थोड़ा 19-20 है, but so the point is that once you do the analysis, now what should happen in the analysis part? This is very important. I will take the VA part now, but what will happen in the analysis part? When you're doing the analysis, you try to solve all the questions that you had left. Don't feel कि चलो भाई I have got 35, 36 marks, I'm very happy. Don't do that. You have to go back again to the whole passage, read this question, try to solve it. ठीक है? And just check, boss, to what an extent I have got correct or not got correct or whatever it might be. So answer is, so I should make it 2 attempts for all of you, right? लेकिन फिर वो time का pause का, do you have the pausing of time option with you? Pause होता है क्या test? Otherwise I will introduce that. It is not, right? So ठीक है, I don't want you to give the option of pause कि pause करके चाय पीने चले गए. So होता नहीं, I don't develop that habit. So once you take a test, you take a test. फिर क्या करेंगे अपन मालूम है क्या? I will increase the number of attempts for you. So क्या होगा ना कि we have this setting, ठीक है? तो उसमें मैं 2 कर दूंगा. 2 में क्या होगा? The first time you take, as you have taken. The second time when you take, you go through all those questions which you haven't taken. So you will get to know कि भाई मेरा answer क्या आ रहा है. So at least I think 2 attempts are needed. I missed this point actually because we thought that लोग share वेयर करेंगे password and then people will start. One person will buy and then many will take the test. ठीक है? So I will give you 2 attempts. We will just change the setting so that you have 2 attempts and you can, in the first you will take it realistically in real time. The second one would be more like analysis of the question that you missed. So I think that is fair enough. है कि नहीं? मुझे तो लग रहा है बॉस यही करो. While selecting RCs, देखो कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा ना, कुछ तो पैरामीटर होना चाहिए ना. सिलेक्शन के पीछे कुछ तो पैरामीटर होना चाहिए. I can't look at the questions. The questions might be very simple, but in reality it might be very difficult to find the answers. So the best way is, rather than having a look at the questions, just look at the passage, look at the first few lines. If you like it, do it. If you don't like it, do it later on. I don't say leave it. I say do it later on. Okay? So if you have a look at the fill in the blanks question here, I have put some video solutions because वो कहीं पे मैंने बना के रखा था. Now it says, as soon as we had thus happily dashed ourselves from the weight of so much money, we began to think of returning out to our mothers, but accidentally, happily क्या होता है? If you are happy from weight, तो weight निकाला होगा या weight डाला होगा अपने कंधे पे? How do you weight निकाला होगा ना? See, if you have a weight on your shoulders, if you throw the weight, then so which one do you mean removal of weight? Oppressed नहीं होगा. See, this is a vocabulary question. Disencumbered. Encumbrance means burden, and disencumbrance means disburden. So of course, if you don't know the meaning, it would be difficult. But if you know the meaning, it is a 30-second question. 40-second, 30 second. So क्या होता है ना कि the people who are somewhat smart यहाँ वहाँ बन जाता है फिर 1-2 question. ठीक है? Let's go to the next one now. 21st. It says now 1 मिनट, ये तो दिख ही नहीं रहा है. अरे ठीक है? All of you can have a look at the question. So what do you think would be the sequence? It says in some textbooks, for example. So this example must have come for something, correct? So this example must have come for something. And it says, however. So this is also contrast. So they both don't do the job of opening the paragraph. So can I say 3 does the job of opening the paragraph? 1 minute. हाँ सही है. ओ ठीक है. Now look at this. So you know that however word is contrasting word. This can't open the paragraph. And you know that you can't start with examples. I mean, किसका example? So either one will open the paragraph or three will open the paragraph. Schools expect textbooks to be valuable source of information for students, right? So what should you do now? Three will open the paragraph. Yes, see, you have to get the answer. So if you get the answer by elimination or by knowing, then of course this is one way which we use to answer the question. First नहीं है, second नहीं है, third नहीं है. So if I ask you what is the capital of Colombia, Delhi नहीं होगा, रियाद नहीं है, लंदन नहीं है, तो चौथा वाला जो भी हो वही आंसर है. Something like this, ठीक है? So my schools expect textbooks to be valuable source of information. उसके बाद में क्या आएगा? Now this example is the example of information, or is it the example of Native Americans? So now you have a chance of either making 3-2 as a pair or making 3-4 as a pair. What would you do? 3-2 बनाओगे pair या 3-4 बनाओगे? Please tell me. Now in some textbooks, for example, settlers are pictured as more humane, complex, skillful, and wise than. The fact that you have Native American coming in as a point of comparison, there must be some kind of introduction to it. I'm giving you the reason why 3-4 is not a good choice. 3-4 is not a good choice because you start with a very generic statement. What is that generic statement? Schools expect textbooks to be valuable source of information. And then you directly say that settlers are pictured as, kahan se aa gaye ye log? You should have a more of a smooth transition. And what is that transition? My research suggests, however, that textbooks that address the place of Native Americans. Now, this is the context in which the author wants to discuss. So you define the context and then you give the example of that context. That's why what happens is 3 and then 2 becomes a better choice, correct? Now the point is 3-2 तो हो गया, अब हो सकता है 3-2-1-4 भी हो जाए and 3-2-4-1 भी हो जाए. Are you getting my point? So have a look at 1. In essence का मतलब क्या होता है? When do you use the word in essence? Suppose if you are writing an essay, ठीक है? Suppose if you are writing an essay, when would you use the word in essence? Please tell me. Because ऐसे ही questions आएंगे. This phrase should make you think, boss, ये essence का मतलब क्या है? What do you think is the meaning of the word in essence? It's a kind of a conclusion. It's a kind of a summary. That's why we say pick the essence of the text. Essence का होता है ना? If you look at the summary questions, sometimes they ask you that there are 4 options given to you and pick the one that captures the essence of the text. Essence basically means a kind of summary or a kind of proper conclusion. So in essence, textbooks stereotype and deprecate numerous Native American cultures while reinforcing the attitude that European conquest of the New World denotes the superiority of European cultures. In some textbook, for example, settlers are pictured as more humane, complex, skillful, and otherwise. Okay? So my research suggests, however, the textbook that address the Native Americans with history of the United States. So यहाँ पे तो कोई बात नहीं हुई है ना? It's this sentence. Look at this. It says that that textbooks that address the place of Native Americans within the history of the U.S. distort. There is no superiority or inferiority point here. That means 2 में क्या बोल रहा है कि distortion हुआ है? What is that distortion? The distortion is that the settlers are pictured as more humane, complex, skillful, and wise. In a sense, what do you want to show? That the Native American cultures, while reinforcing the attitude of the European Congress on universal superiority. Okay? So this is a kind of a conclusion. So the point is that once you go to 3-2, you will always say, sir, can I go to 1 and then I go to 4? Or should I go to 3-2 and then should I go to 4 and then go to 1? The point is, in a sense का मतलब है कि a similar idea has come before. You can't come to the essence without having a description. So first you give your argument, then you say in essence what I mean to say. So this statement talks about what we call as the broad argument, and this gives you the essence of that argument or the conclusion. Can I say 4-1 is a better pair than 1-4? Because 1 आ गया तो किसका essence है ये? तो आप बोलोगे सर essence जो है वो deprecating of Native American culture है. But there is no description of that kind in 2. I hope you have got why 3-2-4-1 is the right answer. Everyone, please tell me yes. This is a good question, by the way, a real good question. I don't realize it, but I do. I realize it now that it's a good question. How many of you agree that yes, now you have understood the significance of the meaning of the word in essence? Please tell me yes or no. सबको समझ में आ रहा है ना? सी, ये जो छोटी चीजें होती है ना, यही आपको सिखाएंगी. The easy questions you will manage on your own. I have don't any issues, but then in the exam time, all these minor subtle things will decide whether you score 98, 99 percentile or whether you score 90 percentile. Okay? So I think we have got this question. This is a beautiful question. Then we have to go to which question? 21 तो हो गया, 22 पे आते हैं. क्या लग रहा है? Please try now. Everyone try it. See it as if you are going through your analysis now and check. अभी होता क्या है ना, see, many of you would have missed because of paucity of time, and this is what happens in most of the cases when I go through in essence means in totality or on the whole. Correct. So if you say in whole or in totality, that means there must have been some kind of description. In essence, India lost the match because the batsman did not perform well. Essence के पहले कुछ तो आना चाहिए ना, उसके background वाला. When I go through the analysis of most of the people, yes, it's a kind of a concluding statement. But this conclusion is based on a certain description given already. वो description होना बहुत जरूरी है. That's why 4-1 made sense. Why? Because 4 gave you the description and in one you got the conclusion based on that description. When I go through the paper analysis of most of you, I see this very frequently. Yes, do you agree or not? Your time, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 10 seconds. क्या कर रहे थे उस time 4-5 seconds में? Yes, people, agree or disagree. When you go through your own mock analysis, you will find that this is a very common feature in all, particularly in the verbal section. Yes or no? Please reply. कोई mock दिया ही नहीं है अब तक. It's a very common thing. You know why? Because most of you run helter-skelter. ये क्लिक किया, देखा 2 मिनट, वो क्लिक किया, देखा 1 सेकंड, यहाँ पे क्लिक किया, 4 सेकंड देखा. So you just keep on running from here to there without doing anything. It happens because you are panicking now. It basically means that you have reached the end of the paper. And now there are 4 minutes left. And because you feel that you have only 4 minutes, you don't know what to do. क्या करना है, क्या करूं? इसका मतलब पता है क्या हो रहा है? कि the initial 3 minutes you will take to settle down. The last 4 minutes you will take to, out the last. So initial 3 minutes you don't lose. But you take 3 minutes to settle down. The last 4 minutes you will take to just run helter skelter. आग लग गई है ना, भाग रहे हो यहाँ वहाँ. So you have lost 7 to 8 minutes. I'm panicking at. So start running here and there right from the start. Don't panic. Just pick an RC, pick a question, solve it the way you would have solved some other paper. And pick something which is short. समझ में आए कि नहीं? Long चीज तो नहीं होने वाली ना लास्ट के 5 मिनट में. Pick something that is short, maybe an odd sentence, maybe summary. हो सकता है ना भाई, summary है, ठीक है, 4 मिनट summary करूंगा भाई. Summary का क्या, एक छोटा सा paragraph है. I will go to the options. You have to maintain your nerves, of course, but then summary at least क्या होगा ना, छोटा सा input दिया हुआ है. You will take 40 seconds to read the input. Then you will have 4 choices. It's quite possible you might end up marking the right choice within those last 4 minutes. Are you getting my point? So to be on the safer side, last chapter में RC नहीं होने वाला, because the moment you start reading, you will be in such a pressure that you will not even understand what you are reading. So I would not recommend doing an RC in the last 4 minutes. Reserve the last 4-5 minutes for some 1 or 2 VA questions. Maybe 1 or 2 VA, could be the odd sentence or could be summary. समझ में आया कि नहीं? I hope you're getting the strategy now. To not waste your last 4-5 minutes, you please don't reserve it for an RC. What should priority पता कैसा होना चाहिए? When you start your paper, you can go with VA, you can go with RC, whatever you want. It's your choice. I would go with a few VA questions in the initial 10 minutes. In the initial 10 minutes, I would like to do at least 2 to 3 VA questions. Maybe 1 or 2 odd sentence, 1 or 2 summary. Maybe 1 or 2 para jumbles. जो भी होगा. After this 10 minutes, I will go to RCs now. So I will give. अच्छा, last 6 minutes में यार देख, see, if you have come into the RC in the last 7 minutes, तो पैनिक नहीं होगा. पैनिक पता है कहाँ होता है? जब लास्ट के 4 मिनट होते हैं. So either you ensure that you will go into an RC in the last 8 minutes, ensure that you plan your paper such a way that in the last 8 minutes you are getting into an RC, so that you can read it for 3 minutes with relaxed mind, and then you can have a look at the 4 questions or 5 questions and decide which one to do and which one not to do. So इसमें पैनिक नहीं होगा, because 8 मिनट में पैनिक नहीं होता है. पैनिक होता है जब 4-5 का काउंटडाउन, the moment it goes to 4 minute 59 seconds, you start panicking, because this is the threshold. So the best thing is, if you're taking an RC, start it somewhere within 8 minutes, last 8 minutes. So you will not panic. But if you take an RC towards the last 4-3 minutes, तो panic हो जाएगा, फिर थोड़ा time waste हो जाएगा. समझ में आया? So either you take an RC towards the end with last 8 minutes, or you take VA questions in the last 4. So it depends. But at least this strategy will ensure that you're not wasting your time. Because it is difficult, it is easier said than done. When you say control yourself, it is easier said than done. So why should I create that situation in which I have to control myself? Let's try to preempt that before the exam itself. Preempt कैसे करेंगे? Ideally, you will have to read the whole RC. In tone-based question, you will have to read the whole RC to get a better understanding of it. Otherwise, कभी-कभार wrong भी हो जाएगा. So tone-based questions can't be marked simply by reading 1 or 2 paragraphs. I might have done that. Why? Because ठीक है यार, मुझे कुछ तो mark करना था ना. So I saw that there are evidences of instruction and less evidence of being disgruntled. So that was a risk I had taken. But in tone questions, it is recommended that you read the whole passage and then get a fair idea of what exactly is the author's attitude. And then you go ahead and mark the answer. I hope you understand that. Correct. Last ka, yes. So you have to use every minute wisely. Otherwise क्या होगा ना कि the difference between 40 and 30 could be this. That's one guy was very much balanced. So avoid all situations in which you think you will lose your nerves. ठीक है? So this question, yes, I think most of you will get it. This is not a difficult question. Later है ना? So this needs a time period. Later needs a time period. Same time needs a time period, and both private and public hospitals. So public general hospitals originated in the almshouse. So when you see the word originated, it gives you idea that this is an opening sentence. भैया origin से start हो रहा है ना? So at the same time cannot, later cannot, both provided mainly. Haphazard है ना? So why should you start like this? You should start with this. Once you start with one, it says public general hospitals originated in the almshouse infirmaries established as early as colonial times by local government to care for poor. So कब start हुआ था? As early as colonial times. Later in the late 18th century, है ना? The क्या है ये? I don't know what is this. The क्या है ये? The infirmary separated from the almshouse. So infirmaries separated from the almshouse, and almshouse infirmaries established. That means this were established together and later on they separated. So can I say 1, 2 is a pair? है ना? I got married and then I separated. So यही होगा ना भाई? So you have to make 1, 2 as a pair. Now your job is done. At the same time means what? जब separation हुआ, at the same time private charity hospitals began to develop, both private and public. So of course private पहले आएंगे and then you will describe them. So 1, 2, 3, 4 becomes the right answer. This was a way easier question than the earlier. But while we were solving the paper, if you remember the last 4 minutes when we were taking, हमको लगा ही नहीं कि आसान होगा ये. Do you remember your mindset? When we were solving the paper in real time, you know what happened? I was so much in panic that मैं बोला चलो छोड़ो, let's go to some other thing. I did not even look at the question. Now that is what happens when you panic. Even an easy and doable thing will become difficult because the mind is now in a different state of mind, in a different state altogether. Had this question been taken somewhere, let's say before 8 minutes or at the start, I would have had a better appreciation. Why not 1, 3, 2, 4? Public, नहीं फिर क्या होगा ना कि ये separation, see, I can go with 1, 3. But now the problem is, does 3, 2 look good? है ना? The point is, will 3, 2 look good? 1, 3 looks good. 1, 3 में कोई problem नहीं है मेरे को. तो आपने क्या बोला कि public general hospital originated in the almshouse infirmaries. At the same time, private charity hospitals began to develop. Later, इसका मतलब क्या है? Later in the 18th century, तो ये at the same time है क्या फिर? ठीक है, at the same time आप बोलोगे से colonial times है. Later in the late 17th century, early 19th centuries, the infirmary separated from the almshouse and became an independent institution promoted by local tax money. The problem is now that if you ask me, sir, 1324, now 13 looks good, but the 2 becomes a little awkward. Why? Because it says later in the late 18th century, and then you go from 2 to 4. So later they separated both private mainly food. There's a disconnect between 2 and 4. So I feel that 1, 2, 3, 4 is more smooth, whereas 1, 3, 2, 4 is not smooth. 1, 3 might look good, but 2, 4 looks very awkward. आपने बोला later in the late, है कि नहीं? आपने क्या बोला later in the late 18th century and nearly 10th century, the infirmary separated and both private and public provided. So ये को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. It's better you say that private charity hospitals developed and they both did this kind of thing. So there is an overlap. The idea of private hospital, the idea of private hospital, the idea of infirmary, the idea of infirmary. I have, in the parajumbles which I have taught you, I have told you keep similar ideas together. Don't separate them. So now you have a better understanding of the psychology of what happens. Understanding the paper is a good thing, but understanding the mindset with which we write the paper is equally important. Because if you understand that mindset, you'll be able to take better decisions before the exam as to the strategy of as to the strategy of the paper. And then you will realize that yes, by just little fine tuning, I can improve my performance by at least 3 questions. And 3 questions is 9 marks plus 3 negative 12 marks, which is not a small thing. So what did we learn today? We learned that towards the end, to ensure to not allow panic set in, you have to ensure that you have done something such that towards the end, towards the last 8 minutes, you go into some RC. Or towards the last 5 minutes, you take a summary question so that you are very much calm and composed. And you finish the RCs in such a way that either you take the last RC in the 8th minute, or you have taken all the RCs by the 6th minute. You have completed everything. ठीक है, तो एक मैपिंग होना चाहिए कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूं. Otherwise, a difference between 80 and 90 percentile could be just that, a few moments of panic. समझ में आ गया? Everyone is clear about it, people? So I hope you have learned something in today's session. है ना? Implement it. Nothing is difficult. See, miss hit hota rahega. You will strike, you will miss, you will strike, you will miss. But from this hit and miss, you will learn your lessons. And maybe on the day of the exam, if everything goes well, it's quite possible you might end up scoring very good marks. That's the difference between those who are still trying and those who have given up trying. There are many who have given up trying. Khatam ho gaya, bas, chalo. But there are people who are still fighting. Okay? So I hope you got something valuable from today's session. And this is the way you have to practice. The sectional tests are of a very high quality. I mean, not very difficult, not very easy. Of course, sometimes easy questions are there. Okay? Never give up and keep on working on your weaknesses. Never ever solve questions in a confused state of mind. Then you are not your own self. गुस्से में मैंने मार दिया पकड़ के किसी को. I'm not a violent person by nature, but because I was angry, I became a different person. And then you start repenting. So many of you are not able to perform your best. Why? Because you become a different person while writing the test. You have to ensure that you don't become a different person while writing the test. You have to be the same person who sits and attends my lecture, who sits and practices on his own, and the same person will write the exam. So you have to ensure that you're the same person. Okay? Then there is a great degree of predictability and you will do well. Okay? So with this, I end this session now. I want all of you to ensure that you follow this method. Whether you are taking my mocks, our portal stuff or some other stuff, no problem. But ensure that you follow this strategy and you will see that from 25, I think you will go to 31, 32, from 32 you will go to 40, and from 40, you might be able to take it to 45 maybe, who knows. Okay? So that's it for the day, people. I hope you got something valuable from this discussion, and go through this video again and try to work on your temperament as well. Temperament is equally important. In the last 1 month, working on content is fine, but it is equally important that you work on a temperament as well. Try to become the person you want to be, at least as far as the cat thing is concerned, of course. Okay? So that's it for the day, people. You know, thanks, and go through it once again. Thank you. Yes, accuracy and mindset, that should be the mantra. Accuracy, mindset, accuracy, mindset.